A very good morning to my all dear students of class 9. A warm welcome from my side to all the students watching this video. Right, so this is our first video of class 9 physics, and the chapter which we are going to discuss is here motion in one dimension. So this is a unit 2 of chapter 2. First unit is measurement and experimentation. That one we will start as soon as the school gets reopened. After conducting some practical classes, we'll go in this chapter. That chapter will be much more clear, right? So let's start our video lesson today. That is a motion in one dimension. So there are some quantities, you see, scalar quantities and vector quantities. Those quantities which depend only on magnitude are considered to be as scalar quantities, and the vector quantities are those quantities which depend upon magnitude as well as direction. Okay, so let's see what are those quantities which comes under scalar. Those are mass, length, volume, density. Okay, so this all comes under scalar quantities. Displacement, velocity, weight and force, they comes under vector quantities. Okay, so these quantities, they depend upon direction. They have magnitude, also they have direction. That's why they are called as vector quantities. But those quantities which only depend upon magnitude is considered as scalar quantities, right? So let's understand these terms with one example, right? Let us consider we have two cars, car A and car B, right? Car A and car B. Car A is moving with 60 km per hour, okay, and car B is moving with 60 km per hour towards east. Okay, so you see here I have written here two cases, both the cars moving with same speed, right? 60 km per hour, 60 km per hour. But here I have not mentioned the direction. That means a car is moving with 60 km per hour, but I did not mention in which direction, which I have mentioned in the second case, 60 km per hour towards east. That means here I am representing vector quantity. That means it has magnitude as well as direction, right? So this is called vector quantity. But here in car A, I have mentioned only magnitude. That's why this is called scalar quantity. So when I write, I am representing here speed, okay, and here I am representing velocity, because velocity depends upon direction. Here we don't have direction, so that's why it is speed. Okay, so there are some common terms which is related with vector. Like we say there are equal vectors. So when we say the vectors are equal, if they have same magnitude and same direction, we consider to be as equal vectors, right? Same way, when the vectors, they have same magnitude but in opposite direction. Like for example, there are two forces, FA and FB. You see, FA and FB, I have denoted here one arrow sign, above F, right? So I am denoting here this as vector quantities. So FA is moving from west to east, okay, and it has magnitude 5 Newton. And same other force, that is from B, is also moving from west to east, that is also having a 5 Newton. Both the magnitudes are same and both the directions are also same. So these two vectors are considered to be as equal vectors, right? But if I consider as FC, third force, which is acting opposite, having a same magnitude but from east to west, so we will find that this force C and force B, they are opposite, so they are considered to be as negative vector, okay, because their direction is opposite. Though they have same magnitude, their direction is opposite to each other, so that's why they are called as negative vector. Equal vectors FA and FB, negative vector FB and FC, or FA or FC, right? Now co-initial vectors, what are considered to be as co-initial vectors? Co-initial vectors means those vectors have a same initial point. That means their point of origin is same. So if we consider if we consider here this O starting point, this A, this is B, this is C, right? So OB, this is one vector, this is OC, another vector, and this is OA, another vector. So vector quantity is denoted by arrow sign, right? So these are called position vector, right? OA, OB, OC, and OA, these are called position vector. So this is called co-initial vector because their initial point is same. Next, collinear vectors. So those vectors have same line of action. We consider them as collinear vectors, right? Like you see, collinear vectors, when I say, that means these are the vectors. Suppose this is M vector, this is 2M vector. Let us consider 3M vector. Okay, see, I have increased the magnitude. Here magnitude is 1, 2 and 3, that means multiplication. So 1, 2 and 3, these are called scalar multiplication of a vector quantity. Scalar multiplication of vector quantity. Okay, so they are acting in the same line. That means either they can be parallel to each other, that means parallel vectors, their angle is 0 degree. If two vectors are moving in the same direction, we consider to be as theta equals to 0. Theta means here angle, okay, angle is considered to be as 0 degree. But if the vectors, they act in opposite direction, you see, this is also having a 3 magnitude, but magnitude of 3, but it is moving from, if it was west to east, here it is east to west. You see, this and this vector, they are in opposite because it was acting from west to east and this vector is acting from east to west. So they are anti-parallel vectors. Their angle is 180 degree out of phase. Okay, we say that angle is 180 degree. If they are acting in the same direction, we consider to be as 0 degree. If both the vectors are acting in opposite direction, that means they are considered to be as anti-parallel vectors. So these are the different terms which comes under vector quantity. So this all you will be writing in your exercise book. You will be writing equal vectors, negative vectors, co-initial vector, collinear vector, which is subdivided into parallel vectors and anti-parallel vectors along with the diagram. So motion and rest. So a body is said to be in motion if its position gets changed with respect to surrounding, and if its position does not change with respect to surrounding, we consider to be as rest. If your position is not moving with respect to time, with respect to surrounding, then you will consider here to be as rest. But if your position is moving from one place to another with respect to surrounding, then you consider to be as motion. Okay, so let's take one example. Suppose you are traveling in a car. Now when you see the co-passengers in the car, you will find yourself to be as rest because no one is moving as compared to each other. But when you see out of the window, you will find all the trees, house, shops, all are moving in the backward direction. So in that case, you find your car to be in motion. So this is the basic difference between rest and motion. Okay, so in this chapter we will find that motion in one dimension means the car or the object which is moving in only in single direction. One dimension we will consider to be as single direction. Okay, so these are the definitions of rest and motion which you need to write down in your copy. Now you see, nothing is in absolute rest there and nothing is in absolute motion. So what is the meaning of absolute rest and absolute motion? It depends upon the reference point. Suppose your position is not changing with respect to the reference point and the reference point is also fixed, then that is considered to be as absolute rest. But here in earth, no one is in absolute rest or motion. You can consider here to be as relative rest or relative motion. Okay, so why it is so? Because see, we are not moving. Suppose we are standing in a fixed position, we are not moving, but the earth is moving around, the reference point is moving around. You are considering to be as rest as compared to Earth, but still Earth is moving around the Sun. So nothing is in absolute rest. So we'll consider to be as relative rest or relative motion. So this was the basic difference between the rest and motion. Now when an object is in motion, so it might have some speed. So what is speed? Distance traveled by an object. Distance traveled by an object per unit time. Per unit time, right? So distance traveled by an object per unit time taken is considered to be as speed. So speed is equal to distance by time. So SI unit of speed is meter per second, right? So this is the SI unit of speed, and speed is a scalar quantity. So we consider it is a scalar quantity. So speed can be also again uniform speed, it can be non-uniform speed. If a body covers equal distance in equal interval of time, we consider to be as equal speed, okay, or uniform speed. But if a body does not cover equal distances in equal interval of time, we consider to be as non-uniform speed. If we consider about motion, the next term is find that velocity. The ratio of displacement of an object to that of time taken is called velocity. So velocity is a vector quantity. When we say the distance covered by an object per unit time, we meant here speed. But when we say the displacement covered or displacement written by an object to that of time, we consider to be as velocity. So velocity is a vector quantity, that is displacement by time. Note that displacement is denoted by s. Displacement is also a vector quantity as well as velocity is also a vector quantity. So specifically if you see what is displacement, suppose a body is at point A. It has moved from point A to point B covering 4 km, right? So when it has moved from B to again C covering 3 km, if it is asked what is the total distance covered by a body, so we will say that 7 km, that is 4 plus 3, 7 km total distance covered by a body. But when I ask you that what is the displacement of an object from A to C, that is from A to C is the shortest distance, that will be of 5 km. Okay. So this is based upon formula, that is displacement AC root under 4 square plus 3 square, that is 16 plus 9 root under 25, that is 5 km. Okay. So this is based upon a formula of Pythagoras theorem, which we will learn more detailedly in mathematics. Okay, we have this chapter Pythagoras theorem. So till then you will just remember what is displacement, the shortest distance between initial and final point. The shortest distance is what? 5 km. And what is the total distance? Distance is 7 km. Okay. So SI unit of velocity remains same, that is meter per second, and it is a SI unit is meter per second and it is a vector quantity. You see, uniform and non-uniform speed. Okay. Uniform, when it is said to be as uniform speed, when it is said to be as non-uniform speed. We will understand, we will see by looking these two examples. Let us consider a car is starting from 0 and after 1 hour it has covered 10 km. After 2 hours it has covered 20 km. After 3 hours it has covered 30 km. You see, increase in distance is same, 10, 20, 30, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. So equal distances in equal interval of time. So we will consider this one to be as uniform speed. Okay, a body is covering equal distance in equal interval of time. Similarly, if a body covers unequal distance in equal interval of time, like from 0 to 1 hour it has covered 10 km, in the second hour it has covered 15, in the third hour it has covered 30. You see, difference in distance is not same. 15 minus 10, that is 5 km. Similarly, 30 minus 15 is 15 km. You see, change is not same. So we will consider to be as non-uniform speed. when a body covers unequal distance in equal interval of time, so we'll consider it to be as non-uniform speed. Just this definition will get changed if you replace the word distance with displacement, then it will become velocity. Okay, so if I ask what is uniform velocity, if a body covers equal displacement in equal interval of time, that time we say it is as uniform velocity. Similarly, if a body covers unequal displacement in equal interval of time, then we consider it as non-uniform velocity. Okay, so what is the main difference? The main difference is between distance and displacement. If you write if a body covers equal distance in equal interval of time, then that is uniform speed. And if you write if a body covers equal displacement in equal interval of time, then that will be uniform velocity. Similarly, that of with non-uniform velocity. Okay, so these are the definitions you need to note down in your exercise book. Also, while converting from kilometer per hour to meter per second, we need to multiply 5 by 18. Okay, this one already we have seen in our junior classes. Like if I say 1 kilometer by 1 hour, we have to convert to meter per second. 1 kilometer means 1000 meter, 1 hour means 60 minutes. Again, 60 minute can be written as 60 into 60 second, right? So 1010, that is 20 got cancelled. So we'll have 10 by 36 meter per second. And further, if you reduce it, then you will be getting 5 by 18 meter per second. Okay. So if you are converting from kilometer per hour to meter per second, you need to multiply by 5 by 18. And if you are converting from meter per second to kilometer per hour, then you need to multiply by 18 by 5. Okay. So these are the basic conversions which we will be using while solving numericals. So these are the few notes you will be writing in your exercise book: absolute rest and absolute motion, relative rest and relative motion, and about kinematic and dynamic. Okay, distance and displacement. Okay, the speed and velocity already I have explained you, just you need to copy down. And uniform velocity. And non-uniform velocity. Okay, you can draw the diagram which I have drawn on the board, and you can note down the definitions from here. And you will be solving some exercise questions. The questions which you will be unable to do, I will be solving whether in the next video or as soon as the school gets reopened. Okay, you will keep your doubts with you, and the questions which you can't able to solve, that one I will be solving. Okay, and these are the last three questions: 16, 17 and 18.